If you thought the excitement surrounding the Cincinnati Bengals was already reaching its peak, think again. Just days before training camp officially gets underway, one message from Jamar Chase has completely changed the mood around the team. His words weren't just another off-season workout update. They sounded like a statement, a challenge, maybe even a warning to the rest of the NFL. Before we dive into everything, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss the latest Bengals news and updates as training camp officially begins. The next few weeks could shape the entire 2026 season, and you won't want to miss a single development. Now let's get to what really matters. The wait is finally over. After months of speculation, off-season workouts, roster moves, and endless conversations about what this team could become, the Cincinnati Bengals are officially entering training camp. Veterans are preparing to report, coaches are getting ready to install their systems, and fans are about to get their first real glimpse of what this new version of the Bengals looks like on the practice field. But before the first whistle even blows, Jamar Chase has already captured everyone's attention. During what he described as his final workout before reporting to camp, Chase shared an energetic message while training in Miami. It wasn't a carefully crafted press conference or an interview filled with rehearsed answers. Instead, it was the kind of raw emotion that immediately grabs the attention of teammates, fans, and opponents alike. According to Chase, it has been an outstanding off-season. He made it clear that despite whatever people may say, despite critics or outside noise, there is one thing that never stops: the work. In his own words, he explained that people can hate all they want, but success continues to come because of the effort being put in every single day. He finished with a direct challenge, telling anyone who isn't working to wake up. That short message perfectly reflects the mindset he appears to be bringing into the new season. For Bengals fans, hearing those words while watching Chase go through another intense training session only adds to the anticipation surrounding training camp. Every sharp route, every explosive movement, and every repetition suggests that he is entering camp with one goal in mind: continuing to perform at the highest level possible. The timing couldn't be more important. Training camp officially begins this week, and after months without meaningful football, the organization finally gets to start building toward the regular season. There is already a noticeable feeling of optimism surrounding Cincinnati. Part of that excitement comes from the offense, where Chase and Joe Burrow remain one of the league's most dangerous quarterback and wide receiver combinations. Although their personalities couldn't be much more different, both players appear to be entering camp with renewed confidence. Burrow has generally become quieter publicly over the years, preferring to let his work speak for itself. Chase, meanwhile, has become increasingly comfortable expressing himself publicly, whether through interviews or social media. This latest message is another example of that confidence. Rather than making guarantees or predictions, Chase focused on something much simpler: the work. His message wasn't centered on accomplishments from the past, it wasn't about awards, it wasn't about contracts. Instead, he emphasized that everything starts with preparation. As Bengals veterans prepare to report, that mentality is exactly what many fans hope to see. There is also another major reason why anticipation surrounding training camp feels different this year: the defense. Throughout the offseason, one of the biggest discussions surrounding Cincinnati has been whether the defense can finally take a significant step forward. Several additions have dramatically changed expectations entering 2026. Players like Dexter Lawrence and Brian Cook are expected to make their first impressions during camp, as everyone watches to see exactly how they fit into the defensive system. Another important addition is Boy Mayfield. Fresh off winning a Super Bowl with Seattle, Mayfield arrives with experience playing on a successful defense and understands what it takes for a unit to develop chemistry under new coaching. During an appearance on NFL Network's The Insiders, Mayfield explained that there is naturally a learning curve whenever players are introduced to a new defensive system. However, he also made it clear that the progress being made has been encouraging. According to Mayfield, players are becoming increasingly comfortable with Al Golden's defense. He said they are beginning to understand exactly what Golden wants the defense to become. Even more importantly, he believes players are buying into that vision. That endorsement carries weight because it comes from someone who has experienced similar transitions before. Still, optimism alone won't be enough. The pressure on Al Golden remains significant. Following last season's defensive struggles, expectations have increased considerably. With the additions of veterans including Boy Mayfield, Brian Cook, Dexter Lawrence, and Jonathan Allen, there will be far fewer excuses if the defense struggles again. Golden now has more experienced talent available. The challenge becomes turning those pieces into a defense capable of consistently supporting one of the NFL's elite offenses. There are still questions that need answers. Linebacker depth remains something to monitor. Slot cornerback is another position where young players may need to develop quickly, but there is confidence that those players can continue growing throughout camp under Golden's coaching. Training camp will provide the first real opportunity to see whether those improvements are beginning to take shape. There are also important developments regarding the offensive line. One player attracting attention is rookie center Connor Lew. After suffering a torn ACL, there was understandable curiosity surrounding his availability entering camp. Now, the fact that Lew has avoided landing on an injury list represents one of the more encouraging developments heading into practices. His recovery was one of the biggest storylines after the Bengals selected him in the 4th round of the 2026 NFL Draft. Many believed that had he been completely healthy during the pre-draft process, he likely would have been selected much earlier. Instead, Cincinnati capitalized on the opportunity to draft a highly regarded center prospect, despite the injury concerns. Now comes the next step: getting back onto the practice field. Lew will certainly be worth watching throughout camp. Veteran center Ted Karras remains an important presence, but at 33 years old, training camp also offers an opportunity to begin evaluating future options at the position. How quickly Lew progresses could become one of the more interesting stories over the coming weeks. As for the injury report entering camp, there is relatively good news overall. The most notable player currently listed is B.J. Hill, who begins camp on the active physically unable to perform list. Beyond that, Cincinnati appears to be entering camp in relatively solid condition compared to what many teams experience this time of year. That alone allows the coaching staff to focus more attention on evaluating talent and installing schemes rather than constantly adjusting around major injuries. The Bengals have also officially announced their public training camp schedule. Training camp, presented by Kettering Health, begins on Wednesday, July 29th. The schedule includes 6 practices open to the public, highlighted by a special Friday night practice inside Paycor Stadium on August 7th. In addition, 4 more practices will be available exclusively for season ticket members and waitlist members. For fans, these practices provide the first opportunity to see how new additions fit, alongside established veterans, and how competition develops across the roster. Every position battle becomes meaningful once players put on the pads. Every practice offers new observations. Every rep matters. And throughout all of it, Jamar Chase's message continues to echo: keep working. That appears to be the mentality driving this football team as it prepares for another season. Rather than focusing on outside expectations, Chase's comments suggest a commitment to maintaining the same work ethic that helped establish him among the league's premier receivers. Training camp is finally here. The off-season conversations are coming to an end. Now the attention shifts to performance. Fans will soon get answers about the revamped defense, the development of young players, the health of important contributors, and how quickly the entire roster comes together before the regular season begins. There is genuine excitement surrounding Cincinnati as the first practices approach. The roster features several intriguing new faces. The coaching staff has an opportunity to reshape the defense. Young players are preparing to compete for larger roles. Veterans are ready to lead. And, perhaps most importantly, one of the team's biggest stars has already delivered a message that reflects exactly how seriously this group appears to be taking the challenge ahead. Now it's time to see that work translate onto the practice field. What are your expectations for Bengals training camp? Which player are you most excited to watch over the next few weeks? And do you believe the defensive additions can help Cincinnati take the next step this season? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Who Dey?